Hi, fabulous. Ali here again, aka the Law of Attraction Lover. And to be honest, I didn't think that I was going to be coming back this quick. Um, I've just seen the title of a slide I made to do a podcast that I never got round to, so maybe it'd be appropriate to do this first before I do that one. But and I feel like one leads on to the other, they stack up, they're all relevant. But yeah, it seems to be at the moment that I'm back into podcasting again. And the reason I jumped on so quick, and like I said, when this other episode that I probably record after this will make sense. But my partner and I at the moment are watching Yellowstone. Loads of people have told us, you've got to watch Yellowstone, you'll love it. And this has gone on for probably over a year. We did start watching it, and every time we watched it, the first episode, he would fall asleep on me. So I'd probably seen the first episode about 3/4 of the way through 4 times because he kept falling asleep on me. And then the other day, sort of, he has being self-employed, more time off over Christmas, and so a little bit information share. So I'm sat on my bed recording this because our house has been in renovation sort of on and off for quite a while, but now it started to take on at a speed, really. So the extension was built a few weeks ago. The back of the house was taken out. So we had initially the original back of the house blocked off, and the extension built the other side. And then all the back of the original back of the house was torn down to expose the extension, and a lintel put in because it's already open plan, but it's going to be even more open plan. It's going to be longer, wider, etc., with different stuff. And then winter hits, and then something else happened which I won't go into, that put a stop to it. And it has got so cold. It's just so cold down there. So literally I've got half a kitchen. I've got an island unit. I've got a little unit for my sink, and I've got my hob and a tiny little bit for my air fryer and a cupboard. That's about it. So where the floor ended and the house ended, and even though we've blocked it off again, there's pure cold air blowing in. If I'm in that area of the house, it's so cold. And we're living in the bedroom at the moment. One of the best things that I got for Christmas was a heated fleece blanket, because if I was trying to sit downstairs on the sofa and watch a box set or anything, probably my partner had fallen asleep on me. My legs would get so cold, and if my legs were cold, I just couldn't seem to get hot anywhere else, even if I had scarves on, fleeces and whatever. And the central heating is just not touching it because it's so concrete blocks. We've got these beautiful free radiators that look like pieces of art, but they don't chuck out. They look lovely, but they don't chuck out a lot of heat. Never did, but even worse now. So it was a waste of time having the heating on because it was just throwing away money and energy. But I'd have this, I'd be sat down, even with a normal fleece blanket over my leg, I would just get colder and colder. I'd get miserable, irritable, didn't want to watch telly, and I'd go, no, I'm out, I want to go upstairs. So now we're just like living in our open plan dressing room, bedroom, and I've had this heated blanket that you can put over you, plug in, and it's one of the best things ever. So the other night he decided, let's try Yellowstone, and I said, not if you're going to fall asleep on me. And he started to fall asleep the first episode, but somehow we've managed to get through nearly almost 2 seasons already. And last night, the last episode that we were watching, he said, "God, we're killer at this, aren't we?" So I might explain something else in a minute. Some people say, "Oh, if you're going to be successful," I'm going to say it now. If you're going to be successful in business, you can't go on holidays. You've got to work, 100-hour weeks. You can't spend time with your family. You've got to tell your family, sacrifice now and it'd be worth later on. I've heard people, literally somebody paid off for them, but it's a mindset thing. It doesn't have to be like this. They still have like 3 at the time, very young boys. They're grown up now. And yes, they've made a successful life for themselves. But when I first came across her, she told her boys that she was working all these hours, she was sacrificing all this time away for them, but she would take them on holiday to the Maldives once she got a certain amount of money and success. And I don't want to get morbid. You just think you never know what is around the corner, and they probably wanted time with her, not the holiday in the Maldives. I try to create a balance that I work on my business and do things like this, recording a digital asset like an evergreen podcast or working on a course when I've got time on my own and my partner's working. And as soon as he's home, the laptop goes down and we spend quality time together. And we've been together 29 years. We like snuggling up. We cuddle each other. This is too much information, but it's come from listening to other people. And I don't know, I don't want to trigger anything in listener, but talking to other people, they talk about having king size beds and that they can't bear touching each other, or they're too hot, or they sleep separately, and this, that, and the other. And we like, I lay one way, and he has this thing where if you ever listen to this, oh my goodness, he calls it the rules, because I face one way and he cuddles into me, and then I get to a point where I want to turn over, so he turn over and I cuddle into him. And we had this amazing king size bed. I was going to say last year, but it's not now. It was the year before. Um, we travelled to two different places in Spain in a short space of time, and both had king size beds. And he said, I want to get a king size bed when we get home. And I was a bit saddened by this, because this bedroom that I'm sat in at the moment, it was a dream I manifested. I wanted it to be like a boutique hotel. I've got crystal downlights from the ceiling with little buttons on the wall. They're not just like lamps on a bedside cabinet. I've got the bed that I wanted with a big velvet charcoal grey headboard. And if we got a king size bed, because we built this around this bed, it would be too wide. It would knock everything out of alignment. So we've got chrome sockets with SCART sockets in, so we can just plug our leads in and not have plugs, things like that. Like I said, like a hotel kind of feel. And a bed would knock out these downlights and everything. Anyway, yes, he got off the idea and didn't go. And I just thought, what is the point of us having a king size bed? Because we're like always cuddled up anyway. We don't need a king size bed. But maybe because subconsciously I've made that decision to, and there's another reason for it, but I might go into it, but I probably won't go into it, is that to decompartmentalize things. Sometimes there's, we have, when people say, oh, I can't have a business because I've got family and I've got this and this. When I decided I wanted to start building things online, even if it was 10 minutes a day within a window of something, that was a success to me. And actually, I'm listening to this book at the moment that I was waiting to be released in January by Paul McKenna, Power Manifesting. I don't know if I've mentioned it in recent podcasts I've just created, but he talks about, I had to pop out just now, and I thought, right, let's get that out of the way. So, and like I said, didn't know I was going to record a podcast. I was going to do something else, but I just felt aligned to do it because of Yellowstone and things that pop in my head. And yeah, the book was actually talking about tenacity and determination and not putting timelines. And this is my podcast a couple of podcasts ago was about quick counting. It's like keep focusing on the things. And I didn't even know that this was in the book. At the moment, there's practices in there for power manifesting. I will drop a link to it in the show notes. So just, don't go shooting off looking for it. I will make it easy for you. I'll put a link in the notes under this podcast to find it. But I'm listening to it all the way through at the moment in an earbud when I'm going off doing other stuff. That's something that I use for my personal development time. Depending on the mood, but most of the time I don't listen to music. I listen to podcasts and books and that, one earbud in when I'm driving, when I'm shopping, when I'm doing those things that we have to do, but are not necessarily income producing tasks or productive tasks to our dreams and goals. Yeah, I didn't know. I'm listening to it all the way through, and sometimes I'm listening to it and he's got practices in there and techniques that I've never heard before. And it comes with access, a password to download the activations and the practices that he says. So I'm just listening to it. It's only about 3 hours long. I'm listening to it as I go about my business, and then I will get a gist of it, and then I will allocate times to implement the techniques that he's talking about. But he was talking about success with tenacity and determination. And I get these people like had their whole focus maybe of like, I've got to put 150% in my business now to to get the results, and then we can have the fun later. The luxury holidays or cars or house or whatever. And you're promising that's not how I work. And I think this is relevant to what's inspired me to record this. Those kind of people, that kind of area just doesn't gel with me now. And one of those people would boast that, and I've said this before, that wouldn't have a television, talked about boasting their to-do list. They were single. They didn't seem to be very successful at relationships. Surprise, surprise. They didn't have any children. They could give 100% focus, and they were a multimillionaire at a very young age. Unfortunately, they passed away with cancer before they were even 35. So it was not long ago we had the anniversary of their passing. But I didn't obviously know that they were going to get cancer. I just didn't resonate to these people anymore. And funny enough, that is the ultimate sacrifice, to lose your life over, building a business but not really having a life. But a lot of the people that I wasn't resonating to because of the message they were putting out, I've had massive life changes. And I think I've spoken this in a podcast or a blog post or something. It's like the world, the universe was trying to tell them that this is not the way to be, and they just kept going on level 2 of the levels, 4 levels consciousness of, and I've been there, and it's quite a default one I keep going back to, and I have to bring myself back to center, because that's not the way I've made a conscious choice not to activate. It is a very masculine energy, which is, interesting to what I'm talking about. And it isn't, I believe now, an energy of the past. And sometimes we need that masculine energy, like I said, like decompartmentalizing, like, I've got to do the shopping, I've got to pay the bills, I've got to go to that appointment. We have to, like, there's no way around it. I have to be there at a certain place between, I say, 10 and 2. But like I said, people were saying to me, and I've been there thinking, oh, my partner doesn't get it in the beginning. He doesn't support me, so I can't have this business. These are external negative beliefs that are blocking us from. We have internal beliefs that stop us from doing the things we want. We have what we see is sometimes we have 100% faith that we could achieve something, but we look at the external beliefs and think, well, I've got a family, I've got a job, I've got a partner, I've got elderly relatives to look after, I've got all of that. But I learned that if I really want this, and subconsciously with determination and tenacity and focus and faith, I took 10 minutes here, 30 minutes there. Some weeks I don't get any chance. I get the idea of this is what I want to do this week, but I don't do anything. But I don't beat myself up now. That's why I suggest keeping a journal. Suggest this in other places, and write down things, even if it's a couple of minutes a day. But we think, okay, I need to do A, B, C, D, but then curveballs and things come up, and we get a phone call or something happens, like say maybe an elderly relative is ill, and you have to get in the ambulance. Good, God forbid, and you don't get anything. But then actually, by suddenly taking control and calling an ambulance and going and being with that person and do whatever but you've done what I call XYZ instead. But all we beat ourselves up about is not doing ABC that we plan to do. We don't pat ourselves on the back and think how we managed and behaved in an unusual, unexpected circumstance, and the things that we achieved. And if we just journal down, God, I didn't expect to do this today, but I did this, and so how, and take pride, or go back at another time when we feel that we're not being productive and successful, and go back and look in your journal and go, oh yeah, that happened and I did that, or oh, actually, yeah, I coped with that situation, or yeah, I did achieve that, and I have got further along than I thought I was going to be. But yeah, going back to Yellowstone, well, like I said, talking about it is achievable if we decompartmentalize, even like I'm just going to watch a training video for 30 minutes. But actually, I've been watching a thing to help me, the digital product I want to launch, based around having consistent 10K months. But I want to do part of the training in a certain way. And I've been watching this training, and I've been decompartmentalizing that, and 20 minutes here and 30 minutes there. And I thought, it's a 3-hour long training, and I've been going deep diving. And when I hear stuff, so I watch it on my laptop, and I've been taking notes in note app in Apple, but doing it on my iPad. And I made a note yesterday, the actions that I need to take from that when I finish it. And I thought, right, I've got an hour. I'm going to watch the last hour of this training, And then I got inspired. No, I'm not pulling out my laptop. I'm just going to talk about what watching Yellowstone reminded me. So, yeah, my partner, we were watching it, and he said, "Oh, this is a good one, isn't it? This is really good." And he's like staying awake now. And like I said, we've nearly demolished. And he said, "Cool, we're like amazing." Once we get into it, these box sets. That's where I went off on a tangent. He was like, "Cool, we knock them out the park," kind of thing. You were sort of saying. And that led me on to like saying about decompartmentalizing. We've all got those jobs to do. We've all got, priorities. And when I said the laptop goes down and I'm full out with my partner when he's there, and then I work on my business and other stuff when he's not there. And maybe that's how our relationship is like it is after 29 years, because the other things, go out the window, and I made a decision that I can still build my business. I can still do the other things I need to do. I can still do the things that I want to do. But the laptop goes down, whatever I'm doing, like when he comes around and says, yeah, he was talking about this. And while we were watching the episode last night, and I don't know if you've watched Yellowstone, and maybe you see the title of this podcast and you think, well, I'm interested to see what she's talking about and what it reminded her about. So I won't spoil it, but there's it's based around very powerful, competitive men. And I went, wow, sorry. I always put any content I put that say it's for only over 18s only. I went, wow, we've seen some things with pissing contests in the past, but I have never seen anything with a pissing contest like this. This is ridiculous. And I said, they're doing all this, but they're all thoroughly miserable. None of them seem to be happy, even for what they're fighting for or trying to achieve. They're just making themselves so miserable. I was like, wow, oh God, pissing contest, men just frustrated. And that's why I was inspired to come on and record, because if you're listening to this, there's a 99% chance you're a woman, and you're probably getting me and you're feeling me. And I've already touched on about this. These people, the majority of these people that I resonated away from, I resonated to for what they taught me. Then I started to feel in my gut that I don't resonate with them anymore. I don't appreciate the message they're putting out. And I think I sort of lost my train of thought. But like I said, I've seen after I decided to resonate away from them, but I have become aware they've all sort of had a kick in the pants by the universe, because that level 2 on the 4 levels of consciousness, I won't go deep into that, but I'm very affected by that, and I like educating people on the 4 levels of consciousness, which is what I call action Jackson, action. Like, I'm going to do this, and people do create stuff from it, but it's not in line. It's not tuning into the universe. Sorry about this. I've just got your just got. I'm not going to stop recording, but I realised that my phone is not on do not disturb, and a text message has just come up on my screen, and you'll now see it says do not disturb. I don't know if that will come up or not in the presentation, but that's what the ping was. Anyway, get me back on. Yeah, so when we get into that action Jackson mode, level 2 focus, we're actually tuning out the universe that is talking to us all the time and guiding us. And we can get intentions and desires, and it's there to help us 24/7, 365. And by the way, we created 24/7, 365 to make our lives more so that we can decompartmentalize and be there at that time and do this at that time and pick the kids up from school and take the kids to school and cook the dinner. But there is only now. And I always say we don't need a new year. We can change our lives in a split second by making a decision. But I want to do it from a level 3, level 4 place, because I know when I've got aligned or I let go, so the universe does stuff for me far more fantastically and effortlessly and easily than I could have ever anticipated when I allow the universe to support me. Sometimes when I feel like I'm pushing, I'm trying to do everything myself, I'm getting overwhelmed, I feel like I'm not doing enough, there's not enough time, I feel rushed. That's a fear ego thing. And I will now say, And I'm not a religious person, but I go, okay, I surrender. I let go and I let God. I let go and I trust the universe to sort this out for me. And talking of 10K months, when I made a decision that I wanted to have consistent 10K month minimum in my business, 2 days later, I was presented with a masterclass of how to do that. And that's what I'm working around at the moment to help other people with. I purely set that intention for myself. And the minute I made that intention and I had 100% faith that I was going to do this, the universe presented me with a tool. And I knew that that was no accident because of the person that created it and where it came from, because I've been very aligned with that person. And I suppose that's where I feel like I've been feeling for a while, that masculine energy. Like I said, we have to be careful how we channel it, because we do need it a little bit to achieve deadlines and be at certain places. But we must not let ego edge God out, or the universe out, or infinite intelligence. We have to co-create with it and come from a level 3. And that's what Yellowstone reminded me. The person I've been working with that inspires me, to me, is like the epitome I want to be. I saw a video on YouTube that they created, and I've included that in the course. There's lots of videos with this person, but I've included it in the course that I've attached, the bonuses that I've created for this thing, that I'm studying this thing for 3 hours and making sure that I don't want to just put it out there. I want to do it as brilliantly and beautifully as I can right from the offset. And if that means it takes a year or 6 months or whatever, rather than bashing it out in a week just to make money, it's not about that. It's about helping women, soul aligned women, to create lifestyles and businesses and income streams around what they love, and that we can help serve the universe, serve the wider community, serve our family, serve other people in a new soul aligned, divine, feminine energy way, not the Yellowstone pissing contest way. That's where I was getting to, is if you feel doubtful about following your dreams, we love talking about box sets. We love The Big Bang Theory. We came across, it's always been out there for a long time. Not something that we felt that we would resonate to, and I don't know why, but we aligned to it during COVID and the lockdown, and we've just finished watching it the 8th time. And in it, there's a character called Amy Farrah Fowler, who is a scientist, and I won't go. I just don't like doing spoilers for people. But in the storyline, she is reminded of the example that she could be to female communities, women of the world, and inspiring other people to do stuff. Because we get that negative talk all the time that says men just seem to go out and trust themselves and have faith in themselves and go, they're absolutely fantastic, fabulous, and they go out and do the stuff. Us, we go like, well, who's going to listen to us? Or, and I felt like that when I started to disalign, as it were, with these people. Oh, they're multimillionaires, they're really successful, and they've got evidence of what they've done is working. So people are going to listen to them. No one's going to listen to me when I go, ooh, I don't feel like that's the way to do things now. And now more, and I kept my voice quiet for a long time until I couldn't do it anymore. And if you feel something in your gut that you want to follow and you do, there is a way initially that I know what it's like, and I will do another podcast because I've already got the slide ready for that. There's something called left hand, right hand that I caught from somebody else, and this may help for you. So I will definitely do that as soon as I can. But you can start putting yourself out there, and I know it can be scary, and you think, oh, what are my friends and family going to be? There are ways that you can start learning this and doing this without them knowing. So like I said, you can do it in small pockets of time using different platforms, and that then gives you the confidence in your own ability and your own skills. And the more you get confident, the less you care about what they say, and you think, do you know what, I'm doing this anyway. And when you know that you're doing it anyway, just think you're doing it to serve a wider community and inspire other people. And that's what the world needs now. That person, I will share it another time, that has inspired me and just feels like the epitome for me is where we're going and what we should and way that we should be doing business and sharing our service products and services and our message with the world to make money. That's a new era in it. We're moving away now from the male pissing contest. We should be able to have it all, the relationships, the lifestyle, the finances, the business, the income streams, do what we want to do, not just sacrifice being with our family and our children so that we can make this amount of money and then we can be with them later. My children are all grown now and some of them have got their own. But sometimes it's my youngest son one day, because his dad was busy with his business. His business gets really busy in the winter. And our schedules, one particular year, it just didn't align that we could go Christmas shopping. And by the way, we're people that we all successfully Christmas shop and we don't panic and we do it very late. And we usually probably do it in an afternoon or an evening or maybe a couple. I don't start in August and go around bragging to everyone how amazing I am that started my Christmas shopping, or I finished it in September and everything's wrapped and it's, all up in the attic to come down ready with the tree. I enjoy doing it around this time, but normally we go off to a bigger city that's nearby. And there's a small town about 11 miles away from where I am. And one particular time, there was only going to be this particular time for me, and there wasn't going to be any time for my partner. So my youngest son, my stepson really, but I don't see him like that. Me and him went shopping and I said, right, this is what I want to do first. There's a nice little cafe that I know tucked way back down a little alleyway. Beautiful made cakes and this, that, and it's a quiet little corner. It can get quite busy, but it's all like higgledy-piggledy and lots of nooks and crannies. And I've sat at a table in this place before because I used to work in this town. And I would go off and go for a walk, or if I go and take some time and sit in this cafe in this little corner. So I said, right, before we do anything, we're going to go into this cafe. We're going to have some lunch. We're going to have a drink, and then we'll look at the who we got to get for, and yeah. So using that masculine energy, this is what we got to do. This is Christmas list, and this is what sort of a plan of action of where we're going. But saying that, we had the most amazing afternoon. He was brilliant at finding the perfect present and bargains as well. I find that if you go closer to Christmas, things that, I come from the UK. So say they were £50 back in August, they become, massively reduced and you say you've got a budget for someone, but you can get them something far nicer and more luxurious or expensive in the budget with the same amount of money. But yeah, we had this beautiful afternoon, enjoyable afternoon, had this lunch in this little cafe. We went off, we had a lot of fun, we had a lot of laughs. We found, like I said, he was just brilliant at finding all these gifts. So we were in a really positive, grateful energy before we set out, and everything just flowed for us. And saying about that, I'm just so I was reminded the other day by something that I was listening to, that if we go shopping with a fearful, negative energy, or like, I don't enjoy shopping, or I've only got this amount of money, or I'm scared to spend this money, but I know things can usually go wrong for you and you have accidents or something's cost more money. But if you go in an aligned way, funny enough, I was just thinking about this just now before I went out, about this person that I'm not, it's not a big secret or anything. I just feel at the moment is it doesn't it's not necessary to share the name, but this person has this story about when they didn't have hardly any money, and I probably already mentioned them in previous things, so you put two and two together, that they only had a little bit of money and they loved blueberries, but blueberries were more expensive than strawberries, and this is part of their story. So they put the strawberries in the basket because they were fearful and scared of spending this little bit of money that they had. And then they suddenly realised, I don't even like strawberries, I like blueberries. So they were basically negatively spending money on something they didn't even want because they felt that they couldn't afford the thing that they wanted, and they thought, this is ridiculous, put back the strawberries, and thought abundantly and trusting and letting go in the universe, and bought and thought everything's going to work out for them, and they bought the blueberries and they ate them and they were grateful and they were delicious. There was this whole grateful energy for them, and that's they say how you should approach life, not in fear. And I'm totally on board with that. Like I said, if I think now, I know that I've done a lot of things that are maybe necessary. I've got crickets, or they haven't worked for me, and I know that crickets are just normal in the beginning because nobody knows who you are. That they um sorry about this big pause. Sorry, I forgot. Like I said, I've only got a certain amount of time. I didn't expect to record this, and I was just checking the time, and I've just gone over a tangent. Yeah, so I only thought about this just now when I was going somewhere, because I heard something. If you go out, this is somebody else. This is Catherine Ponder. It said, like, I've learned, said that's where I was going to go. I've realised now that subconsciously my actions were very level 2, very practical, because this is my situation. I wasn't tuning in the universe. This is what I have to do. I was enjoying what I was doing, but I didn't see that underlying my motivation was fear of lack of money. So now when I feel that I'm feeling fearful, I just stop. I let go and trust. And the other day, the weird thing that I was just going to say, so I used to have this business of painting ducks. And somebody actually approached me the other day and said, this is not, I hope you don't mind me reaching you. Is there any way you can renovate this duck and change the colour scheme on it? And I've done that for people. And I went, well, I initially wanted to say no, but I checked in my gut and it went, I'm helping that person. That wouldn't hurt. That's not going to take very long. Sand it down. Go and get. I said, yeah, but I don't have any materials for that now. Looked around thinking, my current environment, is there somewhere I could create space that I can do that for? And I went back and said yes. That might not seem a lot, but they're willing to, like, obviously pay me for the service and the materials so that I don't have to buy the materials and be out of pocket. That's the way that sometimes, if you're allowing the universe to support you and you're trusting and you're maybe fearful of, like, my finances are low, if you just let go and surrender, it could be something like that happens, that a miracle will happen, like an unexpected way. My saying is, and now I'm going to say it, and I've forgotten what it's that's really weird. But I believe that money comes to me from the universe, from God, kind of thing, and it comes from every corner, every angle of the unit. It flows to me. That's not the exact saying. So if I ever felt fearful of something, then I would, like, stop and think that and say that and know that, oh, God is the source of my supply. Like I said, I'm not really a religious person, but now I feel comfortable with saying it. And I see God as, like, infinite intelligence, whatever this universe is made up of. Not a bloke, not a woman, not someone in a church. It's like, so, and more, this person I was talking about, somebody else I'm just thinking of recently, I'm more comfortable and aligned with the word God. And I say, God is the source of my supply. All my needs are met. And that the source of the supply is infinite and it comes from all corners of the universe, something like that. So if you have that kind of mindset, then you're allowing miracles and unlimited sources. The source of the supply is unlimited. It can come from anywhere, not just from your job or something. It could be finding a scratch card on the floor and scratching it and winning $100, £100, something like that. If you're open, that's what you can allow. And this has gone off on a completely different tangent, but I feel like the universe is channeling through me at the moment. And this is what I've got to say. So yeah, I really want to, if you're not, by previous content I've put out, if it's not inspired you to follow your dreams and find out a way of monetizing doing the things you love, just know that it's, maybe consider the idea that it's part of your divine purpose to tap into your divine feminine energy and share your message out there, and that you're part of the new era, not the Yellowstone pissing contest masculine era, that you were put on this planet at this time, this very special time, that we can monetize our gifts for free with no, people in before felt, some people think that, and I've heard people say it, and I believed it myself before, that to have business, you had to have money. You had to have some kind of money. You had to give up your job. You had to go all in. And a lot of people that used to come into my business felt like that. And I realized at that point that that wasn't the case. It has never been easier to start a business or monetizing your gifts and talents for absolutely free. Like this podcast doesn't cost me anything to create. I learned the skills how to do it, blogging, podcasting, using social media, other online platforms. It doesn't cost you anything. You can start today. You can start in a lunch break, just watching a video and learning something, or doing the thing that you love. And that's what I always say is a starting point. And then just start taking pictures of it and put it on social media. And if it was baking, then you can say, I'm going to bake some. And I heard someone actually say this the other day, someone I respect. Again, he's very masculine, you got to post about 1 million times a day to be successful for his mindset. That's where it goes. I don't believe that. And funny enough, I recently came across somebody who said about putting more, it's better to put one good piece of content out in a week that comes from your heart and it is soul aligned than just putting out 10 to 15. And that's a masculine energy of you've got to put all these pieces of content out to consistency to get people to see you to be successful. But if that's just putting out content for the action for the sake of it, and there's no true meaning for you, it's just like a tick box, people are going to feel that energy. They know that it's fake. I'd rather record a podcast now and then I record 10 maybe and record another 10 for a year, but it's out there indefinitely. And then at the moment I'm writing LinkedIn newsletters. I've started in it's called Amplified Empires. um Amplify is my word for 2025 because I feel soul aligned to it. I just keep hearing it. This is my year of amplification. So even though what I call the community that I create and people that work with me and come into my community, the Freedom Empire Builders, because we are building our freedom empires one action step at a time. I just felt it was, when I tuned into the universe to what to call it, it was Amplified Empires, because that's what I just feel at the moment. So my message that, I'm a hot mess of talking because my mind goes here, there, and everywhere. But my message is that that's gone now. The men and the pissing contest and being miserable. It's about having everything you want, the relationships, the love relationships, the personal relationships, the friendships, the lifestyle, the house, the car, the travel, whatever it is, the kind of money you want in your bank account, the relationships with your children. And I've so got off on a tangent. I didn't explain that had that lovely afternoon with my stepson when we went Christmas shopping and forgot all about it. It was a joy at the time. And maybe it was quite a long time ago now, but about a year ago or something, he said one of his most cherished memories, and I didn't even know this was coming, and I didn't know it impacted him that much. He said one of his best memories of Christmas and Christmas shopping, his best memories ever, was that afternoon we spent in that local town. Maybe that was the universe conspiring that my partner didn't have time to go Christmas shopping and I didn't have much time in my schedule and he was available. The universe manufactured that opportunity for us to spend that quality time together, and that stuck in his mind. And when we didn't have very much money, with our 4 children combined, we used to go camping once a year, not very far down the motorway, freeway, highway, whatever you call in your country, the motorway to. I live in a beautiful part of the country with access to lots of beautiful parts of this country in the UK, and we used to go camping once a week. And I've shared this story before, but ideally, I wanted to take my children on holidays abroad with the sunshine and things like that. And I felt like a failure. And I share this story with people when I know they're beating themselves up and being a failure. I wanted, like the lady who wanted to sacrifice all the hours and not be with her children. That's where I was getting at. But we'll go to the Maldives. One of my daughters said to me, the best, she loved the fact that we had camping holidays and that we didn't go abroad. I felt that they'd got to a certain point, they'd grown up, we hadn't gone abroad on holiday together as a family, and I felt I'd failed and I was beating myself up unnecessarily. And then when my daughter was in her 20s, She said that she loved the fact that we went camping and that we didn't go, wherever, Spain, Greece, whatever, on holiday. She just, because she said, of course, well, I'm guessing if we were in a hotel, maybe that was her idea, that we were in a hotel, she wouldn't get to connect with other people. And she loved the nature and the freedom of it and just coming out of the tent and meet and making new friends and playing out in the countryside in nature and everything. And you think to yourself, oh, I've got to create this, I've got to do this, I've got to sacrifice that. And at the time, we're actually missing that our children and our loved ones are appreciating and being grateful for the simple things that didn't really cost much money or didn't cost any money at all. So if we can learn anything from the masculine energy, maybe like to decompartmentalize things and go, okay, I've got to do this now, but I can utilize that. I've got to get that out of the way. And then I got half an hour here and that I could listen to it aligned with my soul and follow any inspired action steps. And then I'm going to spend time with my partner or do this. But we are going, I truly believe, into a new era of women running the world and showing how businesses could be activated. We are 3D. I'm a 3D physical person talking to you now, but there's everybody has a 5D non-physical soul part of us. And to be able to amplify, expand and show what we're here to do, what the 5D wants to do, it has to express itself through a 3D version of us to share that message. So don't turn off anything that is in your soul. Take time to align with it and go, yes, I'm part of this. This is important. And what will happen if I don't do it? If I don't share my message with the world? Who am I not going to inspire? Who am I not going to lead forward to do something even more, fantastic for in the future? So that's what I've learned from reminding me watching Yellowstone, that this pissing contest, this masculine energy is just miserable, and we don't want to be sacrificing something because we think we should be doing something else. It's about having it all, and that we can have it all, and that if we feel that we have something to share with the world, we've got to go out and doing it. And like I said, I've sort of gone off on the the Gary Vaynerchuk way of, like I said, so the new line, if it means putting out one piece of content that comes from the heart, and even if in the beginning you got nobody following you, but you enjoyed doing it and you had to get it out of, it was in your soul and you had to express it in whichever way, just do it. Even if you haven't, nobody has any followers in the beginning, but it could be, like I said, if you can bake the best cake ever and just start taking photos of it, and then to say, I'm going to create this cake today. Does anybody want one? And you think about the ingredients and say that you're going to, sell it for $20 or $9.99. My partner loves me when I say nine, it gets me to say 9.99 because of my accent, because where I come from, the West Country, if I let it go, it's like 9.99. How much did that cost? 9.99. So yeah, maybe if you want to sell a cake for 9.99, some muffins or whatever, you say, I've got enough for 5 people to make 5 lots. Who wants some? DM me, and then you give them a PayPal link or whatever, so people can send you over the money for their cake. You've got the money for the ingredients, then make sure that you build in a little profit. You're in business. Bingo. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whichever platform, when it comes to you listen to this. That's as easy, that's as simple and as easy it is to turn what you love into a business. Think of something you love, like gardening, and it can then become gardening tips. You're the person that starts putting gardening tips out, or starts taking pictures of your garden and beautiful pictures of flowers and what you enjoy doing, and then you start sharing tips with people, and then you can start a club that they can join. And there is a platform that you can join for free that takes a certain percentage. This is what I do for all my clients and show them how to do it, because yeah, there's doing physical stuff, but ideally what we want to do is do digital stuff that is out there all the time, evergreen, one time, all the time, and that you don't have to be physically present there, but they can pay you a subscription to access a club, a membership site, something like that, a course, and you get recurring income by putting these bits of content that they can access. So you don't have to be physically making the product or baking the cakes, but you're just giving the tips and that. But you can start off with the physical thing and then share it in a digital way to create freedom for you, location, time, and financial freedom. And that's what the Freedom Empire is all about. And I thought I was going to come on and do a quick one, but I haven't. But maybe you've chunked this time to listen to it, or you go back again and listen it in time. I hope you listen to the whole thing through and it's inspired you to be part of the divine feminine energy, the new era of feminine business to make a change in the world. So I'm going to leave it there because I've nearly used up all the time that I have because I've got to go off and do something now. And have a fabulous day, week, month, life. And I will speak to you soon. Mwah, 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 mwah.